Hi folks, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. It's been a while, it's been a minute as they say, but we're out here today at a wonderful Chigborough fisheries again, and we're talking winter fishing. This is the end of November, beginning of December now. We've had a few frosts, we've had a bit of ice on the water, the temperature's chilled right down and the fish have really responded and switched on. We're going to touch on today my three favourite winter methods, the three methods that you're going to catch fish on this winter. We did a little bit of this with Wychwood the other day, and I'd like to go into a bit more detail with you, and we've got a perfect afternoon for it, and I've got an opportunity to cast a line, so I thought we'd give it a go. First method we're going to touch on is the fishing lures. Now that's most anglers, most people's default. It's the thing they do all the time, and it can be very, very effective if done the right way. Second method is my favourite and probably the most overlooked method for winter fishing, and that's buzzer fishing. People assume that buzzers are all about spring and summer. Quite the opposite. They are a food item that are present in the lakes all year long, and you get the right conditions through winter. You get a little bit of a lull in the weather where the temperature picks up, or you get some sun on the water on a calm day, and you'll get a buzzer hatch. It might not be a big buzzer hatch, it might last a long time, but if you're prepared and ready to go when that buzzer hatch is on, it can be some of the most electric sport of the year, of the winter. And the third method that we all know, and I'm sure we're all aware of, and that's fishing the indicator, the bung or the indicator. Very divisive method, but it's very, very successful through winter, especially in those really tough days when the fish are lethargic and they're switched off and they're affected by pressure and temperature changes and all the things that trout hate. Sometimes just by sitting something outrageous, something out of place, by popping it and holding it at a level in the water where you think the fish are cruising, can just elicit a response from them, can just get an inquisitive, aggressive response from the fish, and can often save the day on an otherwise very, very tough day. So we're going to go over these three methods in a bit more detail as we go, but we've got plenty of sunshine, we've got a whole afternoon ahead of us, and I think the fishing is going to be all right. Right, let's just very quickly talk you through method number one. Okay, this is the lure method, and this is without a doubt probably the most popular approach for winter fishing on UK still waters. This is what you see most people doing most of the time, but there are a few things we can do to increase the efficiency of this, and this is my setup, the way I like to set this up. First of all, the rod. This is the Wychwood Truefly FA, 10-foot 7 weight, a little bit of backbone to it, because I could be chopping and changing between lures with quite heavy heads on them, or maybe snakes or stuff like that. That's fairly unaerodynamic, so I want something that's going to be able to cope with that. Clearly the rocket floater, my favourite floating line, as you know, also in a 7 weight, and then the leader is just as simple. I'm simply fishing a one fly, single fly setup, and I prefer this when I'm this lure approach because you're going to fish this more effectively. So I've got about 12 feet of 8-pound Wychwood GhostMode Fluro there, and on the end of that I've selected a little hothead green and black lure. You can't go wrong with a green and black lure in the winter. It's only a small one, little size 12, and you can use whatever you like. I tend to like to fish slightly smaller lures personally, especially on a lake like this. It sees a lot of catch and release, and the fish see a lot of things. What we're going to concentrate on this with this lure method is fishing effectively, and by that I mean we're going to fish in a grid fashion across this peg round here, not casting in the same spot more than once, and just keep moving the fly, so we don't tire any one area out. We're also going to mix up the retrieve a lot. We don't want to give the fish the same thing over and over. This is one of the reasons that fish become wary of lures very, very quickly, is when they're fished the same way and the same speed all the time. Especially in your swim, you'll catch a couple and then it'll go really quiet. You've got to bring out the changes a little bit. And we'll also focus on the hang. We'll hang these flies. Typically on these lakes, these fish will follow these lures in very, very close behind, right to the edges here, especially with this water the way it is, a little bit of colour in the water. Fish are quite confident at the moment, so let's going to give it a go and let's see what happens. I'm quite confident we're going to find one or two fish here. Conditions look good, but that's number one method, the single lure method. Right, here we go. Little black hothead lure on there. It's only a small one, and as we suggested, first thing we're going to do, we're going to have a little run up the margins, and we're just going to work out a bit further and a bit further and a bit further with this little lure. And it's often worth a little go down here just to see. Quite often get fish quite close in on these lakes, so let's just pop a little one out there, not too far, and we just work this edge. I'm just going to let that settle, and we're just going to work this edge back along here. Just let that get down. Oh, oh, you'd think I'd set that up. Look at that. Look at that. First chuck. Perfect. It really is. So many people ignore these margins on these lakes, and there's nearly always fish down them on the edges of them, especially on a day like today when there's hardly any other anglers here. They haven't been spooked at all. Let's just get that net ready. And a nice rainbow to start with. Come on, keep your head down. There we go. Well, that was pretty straightforward. I wish every day was like that. That hook should just come out in the net. Come on. This is where you need that long handled landing net. The water levels are still down a little bit here. Alright, just settle down. Okay. Come on, settle down. There we are. There, nice little Chigborough rainbow. First chuck on the number one method. Brilliant. Right, let's try one a little bit further out this time. Straighten up, just let it settle. This water's looking good, colour's dropped out of it nicely. Really shaping up for being a good winter. Just need a bit of water in here, just a bit more water, a bit more rain. Just try that figure of 8 again. Yeah, a little touch there. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Well, this is definitely working. Get that rod nice and low on him. That's it. There we go. Come on, stop jumping about. Perfect. There he is. There he is. Again. Let's see if he'll shake that hook in the net. Settle down. Right, let's have you up. Let's get in it. Let's get on that hook. Perfect. Oh, that's nice and easy, isn't it? He's good and healthy. Water's nice and cold. Fish are really fit. Well, this seems to be working. 2 fish in 5 minutes. Let's try this again. Let's just pop it out there. just again covering slightly left of where we just last cast. Not like not a million miles, but just I'm covering different water every time. I don't want to give them too much of the same thing. If we can help it, just keep varying it, keep watering it, let it settle down. Oh, yep, touch there straight away on. That's absolutely bonkers, this. He's off. He's off. Wasn't expecting that. Right, let's go again. How good is this at Chigborough? How good is this fishing at Chigborough? Just let that settle. There we go. Try and keep nice and close to the water, nice and low to the water if you can. It just helps. Just increases your chances of getting those fish closer in when you're hanging the flies, and more likely to follow it in that bit closer. I mean, the water is carrying a bit of colour, so the other lake though, however, if we get over there this afternoon, it's very, very clear, and you definitely have to stand back a bit. And that's where I'm going to pause it and hang it just there. So I'm just going to pause, and I'm just watching the end of that fly line there, and I'm just going to lift and pause again. Nothing there this time. Right, so I just check that fly hasn't curled in itself in a take there, didn't I? So, there we are. See the way the tail's wrapped around the fly. Just make sure of that after a missed take or a missed fish. Right, let's have another little go at here. And nice and short. Just let it settle. What a beautiful, beautiful morning. Let's get that. Just seem to want it tripped back. Just keep it coming. Keep it working. A couple of pulls in there as well, shall we? Just mess it up. And this is what fishing lures is all about, really. Mix it up. Don't give them too much of the same thing each time. They soon get wary of one thing, and they'll stop responding to it, and they'll want something different. Not that important to change the fly as much as there we go. Slammed it. Slammed it. Just keep varying the retrieve a little bit. There are days when they just want it absolutely one way all the time, but normally you can mess around with them a little bit. There we go, in the net. Job done. Well, I think we proved this method. Come on. Another hard fighting Chigborough winter rainbow, and this is only going to get better and better. Right, that was a great success on that lure method. It didn't take long at all. There's fish moving out here, so we're now going to move on to our second method, and as we alluded to earlier, this one is the washing line with buzzers, and I'm a big fan of buzzers in the winter. I think they're probably one of the most productive methods if you get the right day. Today's the right day, and a little lift in temperature. This wind has just sort of, it's not got up to the strength they're forecasting. It's actually feeling fairly warm for a winter's day, and by that I mean 8 or 9 degrees, and there's 1 or 2 fish moving out here. So the setup that I've come to, I'm using that same FA. This is the 10-foot 7 weight, and in fact I'm using the same leader I use for the lures. All I've done is I've added in 2 droppers, and I've put a dropper there, and I've put a dropper just further up. So I've gone 4 foot to the first dropper, 4 foot to the second dropper, and then 4 foot to my point fly. The point fly is a little bright fab. Doesn't really matter the colour, to be honest, in winter. I just favour pink in winter. And then on the droppers, which are fairly short droppers, I haven't done massively long droppers. They're probably about 4 or 5 inches long, something like that, just to stop from tangles, really. I've got 2 crisp packet buzzers, both size 10s. And what we're going to do is I'm going to pop this out across the ripple there, and I'm just going to fish it as slowly as I possibly can. Now, I'd like to fish it absolutely static, but because in this particular spot and this part of the lake here, it's very shallow in front of us, even more so at the moment with these low water levels, I am going to have to put a tiny bit of movement into the flies. What you'll see me do is I'll pop this out over the wind, I'll straighten up, I'll let the flies settle, and then I'll just eke it back with a figure of 8, every now and again give it a long pull. And I'd be surprised if this doesn't get us a few fish. This is my favourite winter method out of all of them. So let's have a go. Okay, well, we've got that buzzer set up on now. Let's see if we can get this to work. There's been a few fish moving. It looks like they're feeding on something. This wind, however, has just got up. It's not going to make it easy, but what we're going to do is we're going to pop this out just across the wind there. And hopefully the wind will just move the flies enough for us. Just straighten that out. Okay, so here now we really are watching the line to straighten here. That's going to be our first indication that anything's taken an interest. We'll give it 10 minutes on here on this method, and if it doesn't work we'll pop over to the other lake. But you've got a few more options over there. Just in this wind direction, this particular wind direction. I want to be up this end of home water, you see. Right, they're starting to settle down now, so all I'm going to do now is give it a nice long pull to lift everything. Just like that. You quite often get the take when you pull, there's those buzzers lift. And I'm just going to start to inch that back. I can't leave it too long out there without moving it because it's very shallow out there. 2-3 foot of water at best. So just going to stay in touch with it, and every now and again I'm just going to give it a pull to lift it. It's certainly mild enough for them to be feeding. I've seen a few fish moving. It does look like they're onto a little hatcher buzzer. Just bringing that round. Funny thing is, we've got the wind going that way, and we've got a flow, a current going that way. There's the inlet is on my left hand side here, and that could have been something, could have been bottom, I'm not sure. Yeah, we're scraping bottom there. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think we're scraping bottom there. Difficult to tell. Oh, that's not bottom. Oh my god, I almost jumped in. That's ridiculous. That's taken the top buzzer and slammed it. That absolutely made me jump. Oh goodness me. Taking the crisp packet buzzer, top dropper. Well, there's a second winter method. Buzzers, love them through the winter, especially good on this lake. They are really good. We get a very early hatcher buzzer here. It starts hatching in sort of late December in earnest, and then we get a good steady hatch all the way through till, you know, May time. Just a good shallow lake here with clay bottom, perfect for the chironomids. What a take. I mean, this is why people go mad over buzzer fishing, because of these sort of takes. Come on, let's get you up and get the net underneath you. Lovely. Brilliant. Perfect. What a start. What a start. Here's a little run in. Hooks out in the net. Away he goes. Oh, well, that didn't take long. And that top buzzer there slammed it. Let's get this out. Make sure it wasn't a fluke. So, lovely. Get it out there, straighten it, and just leave it. Just leave it. That just ripped it out of my hand just as I went to move it off the bottom. Smashed it. Very, very overlooked, this method in winter. People just associate buzzers with spring and summer, and excellent winter method this. It's a nice long draw to get it started, and then just slow figure of 8 just to keep it off the bottom there. We don't want it sinking down too deep. Catch it on the bottom too much. Nice and slow. Oh, that's hit the fab. Now that's hit the fab. And slow long pull. Those little stabs are when they hit the fab, they had the colour on the point. You see the buzzer takes, they just don't mess around, they just bang, having that, thank you, I'm off. Yeah, like that, look at that. Yep, it's on the buzzer again. Slammed it. It's incredible sport, this. And he's not happy either, this one. I can tell you. Not happy at all. Second buzzer down, that one's taken. It's also a crisp packet. There we go. Perfect. Right, 2 and 2 chucks. Let's try for the third. I'm not chucking a monster line out there, probably 50 feet, something like that. Only for a big line, you're only going to give yourselves problem with turnover. You've got a little free fly cast like that, so you just want to keep it nice and short and sweet. Make sure it pings over. Give it a straighten. And then again, we're just going to slowly figure out that back. In deeper water, I just leave these and just let them all flutter down to the bottom, but you really have no choice here. It is super shallow out there. You see that current's going that way and the wind's coming this way. It's weird. That's lovely. It's just straighten up beautifully. Really puts you in touch with these flies. Watching the tip of that rod tip. I mean, these takes have been savage. Give it a little pull there just to keep it up. That's it. And just leave it. Let it come back very slowly. Size 10s, they are, you know, proper size flies. Again, give them something to turn their heads. There won't be a lot of food available, so they're not going to be fussy. And a little buzzer here. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Nice pull, long draw, and leave it. Working that all the way through there beautifully. There you go. Oh yes, 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 yes. Right at the edge there, look. Top buzzer again. Oh yeah. About as surprised as I was. This is incredible sport at Chigborough at the moment. Utterly incredible. This is what winter fishing is all about. And look, I've got the place to myself today. It's crazy. Just get yourself tangled up there a little bit. Come on, in you come. Well done. Excellent. Now, can we just get this hook out of here? Just like that. That's all out of there. Say goodbye to Mr. Rainbow. Brilliant one. Right, so far so good. So we've got our third and final method on here now. and this is a staple of all winter anglers, small water anglers, especially on the competition circuit. But it's the bung, it's the indicator. Call it what you like, love it or hate it, it's very divisive, but it works, and it certainly has got to be up there on your list of winter methods, successful winter methods. Quite often these fish are not feeding at all. They can just be moving around, mooching about, no food in the water, no motivation, and where we can score, we can make the fish take something just by dangling something in front of their noses, something outrageous, something out of the ordinary, something that doesn't look right in the water, and it's just going to elicit a response. It's just going to get an aggressive, inquisitive response from a fish that would otherwise probably not bother. There's a very basic setup. I'm fishing a pair of this is with the Truefly FA. It's a 10'8" weight. I'm chucking an indicator with a bit of air resistance and some big flies on here, worms, chamois, etc. So I favour an 8 weight for this, just being able to lift the fly up and pop it down again quite easily. And also when you've got a bit of a gusty wind chucking this stuff, you want a rod with a little bit more of a poke. Rocket floater as always. And then I've just got about 8 foot of leader on here. This is 8-pound LureMode. I've gone 6 foot to a dropper, and on that dropper I've just attached my my bung onto a little dropper like that. You can use sliding bungs if you like to. My preference is for a fixed bung. And then under that, and on this particular lake where we are now, about 18 inches, 20 inches below that, I've just got a single pink weighted worm. And this I will alternate between eggs, worms, chamois, whatsits, whatever you want to put underneath there. Just something that's, you know, we could put buzzers under there and they would probably work, but we've already proven that buzzers work. So we're going to try something a little bit outrageous. So we're going to pop that out there, and the key with fishing the indicator, of course, is to keep it as static as possible. Don't overwork it. And it's a lot of people are very, very guilty. They feel they need to be doing something. Remember, you're trying to do exactly the opposite of that. You're trying to eliminate all of the movement out of this. You're just trying to stick it in that fish's path where he's cruising along, and eventually he's going to get aggravated so much he's going to open his mouth and make a mistake. Let's give it a go, see if it works. Right, let's see if we can carry on our run of luck. Last method, indicator, the bung. Set up quite shallow because, as we said, we haven't got much water in front of us here. I'm going for a little pink worm on the point there. Look, about 6 foot between my fly line and my indicator, just to get it away from the fly line, which we know is a spook zone. I'm not going to fish this miles out. I'm just going to chuck that out there because we want to be able to see it, you see, and want to be able to strike it, control it. So I'm just going to pop it out there, give it a little chuck, you know, about 30 feet out there, I suppose, 35 feet, and we're just going to see what happens. I'm not sure. It's not had a lot of success on this lake recently with the indicator, but we'll just give it a little go. Should be able to winkle one out. They seem to be in a good mood today. These fish seem to be having it a bit. And all I'm going to do is just going to leave that sitting there, and every now and again I'm going to give it a little tweak, but I'm not going to overwork it. I'm certainly not figure of eighting it. Just leaving it there, letting it do its thing. Come on, fish. There we go. No, you just got to talk them into it. You just got to talk them into it. That's our third method proven. Brilliant. Brilliant. It's a beautiful afternoon now. It's real stunning. That wind's dropping. I might stick that drone up again in a second. Come on, let's be having you. Perfect. Hooks out in the net, as you can see. Nice winter rainbow. Well, how good was that? I mean, I could have asked for a better session. Now that's all 3 methods proven to work. I'm going to say that probably the buzzer method was the most successful for the time we spent on it, but the others were pretty rapid too. And it just shows that using one of those 3 methods, or being prepared to switch between the 3 over the space of a day, can take you all the way through the winter, and it can be, as we've keep talking about, some of the most productive fishing of the season. You know, you'll come here, you'll fish your lures first thing, and the fish start to switch off the lures a little bit because they've seen lots of movement, because it is the most popular method, let's face it. Then you would think about switching to your buzzers come mid-morning when you get that first bit of sunshine and the water starts to warm up a little bit. You'll probably get a couple of hours on the buzzers, and then when it gets cooler again and the fish start to, the buzzers stop hatching, the fish start to go a little bit more moochy towards the afternoon, maybe you think about going onto your indicator. And you sort of use a rotation like that throughout the space of a day, moving about swims we haven't needed to do today because this has just been absolutely fantastic this morning. You're going to succeed in winter, and that's what this is all about. I hope you've enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it as always myself. It's been nice to get out and throw a line. It's been nice to actually got some really nice weather to do some filming in today. Please click like, click subscribe, leave any comments in the comments box, and I'll try and get to you for some more winter fishing and some more winter videos as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye bye.